A federal judge has ruled that President Trump broke the law when he deployed troops to Los Angeles over the summer.
Well, regardless of the ruling, the president is doubling down and pledging to send troops into other major American cities. CBN's Brody reports.
The judge said President Trump can't use the military as a national police force. Despite the ruling, the president argues it's his right and responsibility to protect people from violent crime.
Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now.
Over the Labor Day weekend, at least 57 people were shot in Chicago, 8 of them killed.
If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country.
Illinois officials quickly rejected the idea.
I'm aware that the President of the United States likes to go on television and beg me to call and ask him for troops. I find this extraordinarily strange, as Chicago does not want troops on our streets.
We do not want or need military occupation in our city.
3 weeks ago, Trump federalized the Washington, D.C. police and sent in the National Guard for support. Now, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is issuing an order to integrate local and federal law enforcement.
We didn't ask for any federal officers. We're driving crime down. But while they're here, how can we most strategically use them?
President Trump says the strategy is working, pointing to a drop in crime in D.C.
The Republicans, President Trump, this administration, thinks this is a politically winning issue, to be on the side of safety, to be on the side of fighting crime.
CBN chief political analyst David Brody says the issue is resonating with conservative voters. But the question of how federal force is deployed still raises legal concerns.
Where it gets complicated is that federalizing or mobilizing the D.C. National Guard in the District of Columbia is different because D.C. is not a state than mobilizing the National Guard in states and cities that are in actual states.
According to this latest poll, crime is a top concern nationwide. 81% of Americans call crime a major problem in big cities. 53% approve of how the president is handling it. Still, few support a full federal takeover of local police departments. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Well, we've all seen the videos of lawlessness in our nation, where our retail stores safe and people going into retail stores, clearing off shelves and just walking out the door. There doesn't seem to be any consequences for them at all. We're also familiar with the riots where whole city blocks were turned over to protesters. And again, where was the law and order in all of that? Am I in favor of a national police force? Absolutely not. But I don't understand a political party saying we want to stand for the rights of lawlessness. That doesn't make any sense. I was just in Chicago. I heard from people saying, well, we can no longer go into the drugstore and just pick things off the shelf and check them out. We have to ask someone behind a glass wall for what used to be over-the-counter medications and over-the-counter things that you normally get at a drugstore. And the reason is the drugstore can't keep them in stock if there's no law enforcement to stop the theft. I also talked to a member of the police force, and he said quite plainly, we can police where we're allowed to police, but there are areas where they're not. As I walked the streets in downtown Chicago, was I safe? Absolutely, I was safe. But are there areas of Chicago where the police don't go? And the answer is yes. Is that really good for America? I think the answer is quite clearly